Hey, good evening. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. And I was just got done eating with my baby girl. And, as I prepare to watch the game today, I wanted to jump on here. One thing I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to just have an open and honest discussion because I really feel like a dialogue needs to happen. And what I mean by a dialogue is a real dialogue, right? Um, and in reference to, made a post this morning, and the post basically said that, transparency and accountability is no longer negotiable. It's not optional. And so elected officials, for those who have been duly elected, it's no longer optional for transparency. It's no longer optional for not only transparency, but accountability. It's time to be accountable. It is time to be accountable. And I want people to understand this, right? And for those who, when we start talking about this, I know a lot of people may say, well, I don't get into politics, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because just because you don't, that doesn't mean that it doesn't impact you or affect you. And one of the things I wanted to get on here and I wanted to talk about in reference to that is a post I saw this morning. Albert Turner Jr. Made a post this morning about how the city of Marion, people was asking questions. Yesterday, the city of Marion, there was a vote, and that's a whole different conversation. They had the third emergency meeting. Initially, if I'm not mistaken, because there was some issues with the Zoom call last night. People was trying to dial in and say it was going to be live, but there was some issues with it. Thank God there was some people that were there that was able to record and provide some feedback. But they've been trying to pass this $100,000 line of credit. I know city workers didn't receive pay, and I guess they voted to get $100,000 line of credit for the city of Marion so they can make payments. Now, there's a lot of things that go into that, but I did want to address this morning. Albert Turner made a post about basically talking about the credit union that made the $100,000 line of credit for Perry County. For Marion. Now, in that post, if you go to Perry County District 1 Commissioner Albert Turner, you will see the post that he said, and I think he's going to share it like he used to do about 30 times to 30 different platforms. You will go and you will see everything is in there. It's all about a political spin. And this is what I mean by political spin. All of this was done by this person that interned for this person and these connections for this and this connection for that and all this and the third. And that's to give the perception that somebody is connected of actually doing something positive for the county, right? To give the perception of that, right? And that's what I mean by perception, right? Because that perception is really designed for deception, right? And this is what I mean by that. The question that nobody is asking, and I think the question that a lot of people are asking, why does the city of Marion have to borrow $100,000 to make payroll in the first place when they should have already had a budget to cover the year? That's one thing. Two, when you look at it, even after they passed it, the Mayor Dexter Hinton, proposed to give a $500 bonus to city workers after they just approved a $100,000 line of credit to pay bills. And the city is already behind with paying bills, has been behind with paying bills. Why are you trying to give $500 bonuses when you had to borrow money to make payroll? That doesn't make sense. What that looks like is, I am coming in, I don't have the money, and then, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try to give $500 to the people to make it look as if I'm for the people. But if you really was for the people, you would have had a budget, you would have had the audits completed, you would have had everything planned out so that the basic functions and the day-to-day functions of the city would be good to go. Now I shared something yesterday. It was a breakdown on the audit, the results of the audit for the city of Marion in 2021 and 2022. If you go back and you look, both of those audits in 2021, the city of Marion had a negative. Basically, they lost $1 million in a little bit over $1 million in 2021 and like 400 and some thousand in 2022. That's what the audit showed. So that shows that they're operating at a negative. That shows that there's some level of mismanagement with that. And when you start talking about trust and all of those things, the reason why I'm bringing up and I'm talking about all of this is because I want the people to see, if those people were so connected the way that they're claiming to be connected right now in the time of a crisis, why haven't we seen results of those connections for the last 25 years? Why have we not seen that? Why have we not seen the evidence of that? Because people claim to have all of these connections, right? They claim to have all of these connections, but we still dealing with the same chronic issues. And it's the same few people. They have mentioned something about the Black Belt Foundation. And I want to let people know this, right? Just so you know, any nonprofit organization has to file a 990. It's a tax form 990. You can get that nonprofit organization name and you can Google that nonprofit organization name, and then you will see, and then do 990, and it will bring up that tax form. That tax form will show you what they file in taxes. And there's some other things that I saw that I'm eventually share. I want people to start to realize, like, wait a minute, you start to see who sits on what board. You start to see, okay, and then you start to start, this stuff is not adding up. It's not adding up. And that's the chronic issue we have throughout the Black Belt. Listen, accountability. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, then you will get the support. People are tired. And I'm being honest with you, people are tired. They're tired of seeing the same old, right? At the end of the day, basic things a city should be able to do is have a budget, follow that budget, do audits, because it's required by the Alabama law. It's required that if a town has more than $300,000 in revenue, they supposed to have an audit done annually. And we had towns, Marion didn't do one for about 5 years because they got funding from ADAM to cover from 2018 to 2023. ADAM, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, gave them $170,000 to conduct those audits. As of the other day, I think they're still working to meet the deadline to submit 2023 for some additional funding that they can get from ADAM to fix their water system, right? This is the stuff that I'm talking about. Why did the city of Uniontown haven't had an audit done since 2012? They don't even have budgets. We have cities with elected officials who have over a decade of experience, either at the city level or at the county level, because we rotate a lot. People that been either mayors of towns, because I know Tony Long been the mayor of Marion, and now he's on the county commission. Ron Miller was on the Perry County Commission. He was also the chairman of the Perry County Commission from 2012 to 2018. And then now he's the mayor back in Uniontown. The question, and then Perry County Commission, their last known audit was in 2021. Why? And then they want to put out like they're so connected with banks and financially. Why can't you do an audit? A financial forensic audit, not a compliance audit. Right? And yeah, we know why. We know why. And this is the thing. They don't like nobody to say anything. That's why they'll call you an outsider. That's why they call you, say you're trying to imply that they're doing some things, some inappropriate things. No, if you've done a budget for the year, that means that you outline what are your monthly expenses. You take your revenue that you have in, you take your revenue that you bring in. During the city council meeting earlier this week, the city clerk in Marion explained that January through June are their highest months that they get revenue in. And they talked about in January, that's where they get a lot of their revenue in, especially from like Alabama Power, from a lot of these things, they get a large sum of money to come in. Okay, if January to June is your highest revenue grossing month and your slowest months are all October, November, and December, a simple question is this. Then why won't you budget? Hey, this is what my monthly expenses are for. Because all of the stuff, if you go, all of the stuff, I want people to understand, everything leading up to this emergency meeting was trying to paint that the new city council members were the ones that was responsible for not paying the bills and not paying insurance for these people, not paying health care, not paying all of this stuff, right? Not being able, the city not being able to pay for repair parts and all of this. But the new city council just swore in on the 3rd of November, and there's 2 new members. So what happened to the old ones? Why didn't y'all do that for last year? And these are the things, and this is not somebody that just got in office. The clerk been there longer than the mayor, and the mayor been in office since November of 2016. And this is what I want people to think about. This is what I want people to think about. And you have to ask yourself, because what happens is people become tribal. They become blindly loyal to people. And they feel when somebody is just bringing up stuff and asking simple questions. Never once have I implied anything personal. What I'm saying is those people that are in charge are not doing their job, and they have not done their job. Period. Alabama law says that a city that brings in that has over $300,000 in revenue has to do an audit annually. That is Alabama law. I shared it on my page where you can read the Alabama law. This ain't Robert Shepard saying it. This ain't an opinion. That's what Alabama law said. So we got elected officials that not even complying with Alabama law. Alabama law also talks about open records as far as records that's available. And there has been multiple people that said that they have submitted for records to be provided by the city clerk and haven't provided it. You don't get the option to ignore that. And it's too long, for too long, especially in the Black Belt. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, not just in the Black Belt, but in the Black Belt that has been led by African American Democratic leaders. I'm saying it because if somebody that doesn't have the same pigmentation in their skin color as I do, and if they've been called into account of what's going on, then they'll be painted as racist, right? I'm just calling a spade a spade. Like a spade a spade. Like I don't think people really realize what is actually going on. In 2020, when Mayor Chris Jones, rest in peace, former Mayor Chris Jones, took over as mayor in Uniontown, Alabama, the city of Uniontown had $2,000 in the bank. $2,000 in the bank. Once former mayor Jamal Hunter went in office. $2,000 in the bank. Now you got the city of Marion, who just went through an election in September, and they have to borrow $100,000 to make payroll and pay their bills 2 months later. None of that was said during the election. None of that was brought out. None of that was shared. And for the people who have loved and been coming on and talking about where did I come from, that I ain't been talking about nothing. The only reason I'm saying something lately is because of results of the election in Uniontown. Please know I have receipts of what I've been speaking to those same people that's in elected positions right now, decision-making positions. I have receipts to show that I have been speaking to them about the same thing that I'm talking about now. The same thing. Like there's a conversation through inbox conversation between myself and Mayor Hinton back in September of 2022. When the Pear County Herald posted an article about the audit that was conducted in 2021. And I talked about it that week. I talked about it on the Black Belt Experience show. I got an inbox from the mayor at the time, and he was telling me about some other things that went on with it, right? And the thing that I said was, well, I talked about it on the show because the time that the audit covered, you was the mayor. It wasn't with Tony Long. It was you. It was Dexter Hinton was the mayor. And what I said that the first time that I heard about it was in the article. And I invited him to come on the show to talk about it. I told him, hey, you got to control the narrative. And I said, you should have put it out to the people. That's transparency. That's being accountable. That was in 2022 when I talked to the mayor. Right? And 3 years ago, I've been on Albert Turner neck about the lies and the misinformation that he put out. Right? And there's other proof that I'm going to show that. Because I want people to know, I want people to see, and I want people to finally, some people are going to support him regardless. That's just what's going to happen. And, God bless you. That's your right to do it. But you can't say you wasn't given the information. Right? You can't say that. Right? And at the end of the day, what I am tired of is that thing, when I looked at that post, it wants to give the perception that because of Albert Turner and the connections of all of these people, you throw Bobby Singer the name out there, you throw all of this and this thing, then that's the reason why Marion was able to get the $100,000. But nobody's talking about why they was in that position in the first place. Nobody's talking about that because they don't want you to hold them accountable for their dysfunction. We have government. Listen, I will tell y'all right now, that budget that's on the Perry County government website, that budget for the Perry County Commission, if you go back and look at it, and this what they play on people not being able to see and understand. I'm going to tell you how false or how crazy that is, right? I want to tell you how crazy. If you go to that, if you go to the Perry County website right now, and like I said at the top, and you search budget, once that pop up, you'll see a link to go in for budget, right? A link to go in for the budget. Once you click on that, it's going to be budgets in there, a list of budgets. You will see a link for capital fund budget 2025, 2026. You'll see one for general funds. You'll see one for highway. You'll see that, right? I went back and I looked at, I did an analysis based. I just looked at one from last year to this year. The one from this year, for the highway budget, which Albert Turner posted that they have a $4.5 million budget for the highway. But if you go to the website on there, it's one that's listed, but it only has $22,917 on it. Now, if you look at that, what they have is one column is from the last year. And then they have the next column is to propose for the next year. Only thing that changed on that one from last year, it was a $1 difference from 2025 to 2026. A $1 difference. Now, for anybody that has ever dealt with a budget, right? Your budgets that is not going to be your budget's typically not going to be the same because you use historical data on your expenses from the last year to do projections for the next year. They do that, right? They do that because they know a lot of people aren't used to that. So they just throw it on there to say they did it. But then they don't expect people to go in and ask these questions. And when somebody that have experience and they look at it and they ask questions, then you be called an outsider. Then you be called a troublemaker, right? Then you be called somebody who's trying to stir division and do all of that. No, stop lying. Stop lying. Just stop it. Stop it. My whole goal is to educate. Like I said, exposure leads to expansion. That's why I've been posting educational things. So, for example, for executive sessions in the city council, there only should be done for specific things. And an actual lawyer or attorney has to be present, and they have to agree that it falls up under that. This is Alabama law. So they doing executive sessions like they doing. They still hadn't got back public comments, all of this stuff. Why? For the secrecy. Why? And I shared an interview that Dexter Hinton did in January of 2017. A few months, 2 months after he took office, he did it at the time the Black Belt Portia Take on the Black Belt show. And the question that was asked to him was what was his motivation for running? And he said it. You go back and watch it. I posted it yesterday. he made the statement that the reason why what motivated him to run was because he wanted to know what's going on. He started going to city council meeting, and he said the city business wasn't being done right. And then a question was asked to him, well, what were some of the trends that he saw? And he said, this was his words. He said that the elected officials are just used to people taking their word, and they're not holding up their end of the bargain. He also said that the citizens need to hold the elected officials accountable. So the things that I've been doing is calling them to account for their actions now. And now I'm an outsider. Now I'm trying to stir up the division and all this. No, I'm following the advice that the mayor said when he was elected for office. Right. And at the end of the day, stop letting these people play in y'all face, man. Stop letting them play in our face. Stop letting them lie. Just stop. Stop letting them lie, because lies will be told. But at the end of the day, it's the same old, same old. And if you continue to be quiet and let people lie to you, let people not be accountable to you, because these people were elected to represent you. They was elected to represent you. They were elected to represent you. And people can say whatever they want to say. They can put out whatever they want to put out. Everything that I've been providing, everything that I've shared, I provided verifiable links to that you can go see it yourself. Not just me saying something. Not just me saying something. And I haven't done it for this because I saw it and I just said, you know what? Let me come on and let me address it out in the open. And I just want the people back home to realize we deserve better. We deserve better. Listen, and at the end of the day, ain't none of this personal. Ain't none of this personal. I'm just tired of the same old, same old. And if we go around, we looking, and I wish, and I'm being honest with you, the reason why I continue to say exposure lead to expansion, because if we live in other places, if you go beyond where we at, you realize that a lot of stuff we deal with, we shouldn't deal with. And the reason why we deal with it is because we allow the same old stuff to happen. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all this. There's some, I'm being honest, open and honest with you. You will see. I want you to ask yourself this. Why do certain things, and why do Perry County have the highest percentage of absentee ballot in the state of Alabama? In the state, and I'm not just talking about, I want y'all to understand just how bad absentee ballot is, especially with the allegations of them paying people for votes. The state average last year in 2024 was 1.9%. So 1.9% of the votes were absentee ballot. Perry County was 21% of the total votes were absentee ballots. The next closest county was Wilcox County at 8%. So that was almost 3 times higher than the next closest one. But the absentee ballots supposed to be for those that were sick and shut in, that can't make it and all this stuff, right? And then you have to sit down and look at it for these illustrious leaders. Why? And I posted this with verifiable facts. You can go back and you can, if you want to look. Why does Perry County have more people on their vote that register to vote than they have citizens living in the county? Over 100%. That's statistically impossible. And it's a reason why. I'm not talking about people who have residence there and they, they go somewhere else, but they actually live there. Their residence is there, right? There's people that have multiple homes in different spaces. And you know what's funny about that? I remember, when Travis Perkins was running, somebody made a complaint that he didn't live in the city of Marion, but there's also some elected officials who are already in elected positions that have multiple homes and spend most of their time outside of the city of Marion. They got homes in Tuscaloosa, but they want to do that because they always want to find ways to discredit anybody. And this is the thing. They don't like people coming from outside because they want somebody that they feel like they can control, they can manipulate, or they can have that will go along with get along to go along, right? And I just want people to understand that. And at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to expose, because I hope that if it can help somebody, I hope people would really see what's going on. Listen, at the end of the day, I was not advocating for any of those city workers to not be compensated for their pay, for them to not get paid right before Christmas and their families to go without. That is not what I'm talking about. But the question needs to be asked, what decisions were made that led to them being in their positions? What decision was made that led to the city of Marion not being able to pay their bills for a couple of months? Right? What led to that? And I would tell people this. People need to understand. The other day, there was a picture shared on the Black Bet Experience about trash in East Ridge apartment complex in Greensboro. That it was shared, viewed over 100,000 times, right? The city, that was a private property matter, right? The mayor of Greensboro got involved and found out that private property manager didn't pay the bill. They didn't pay the trash bill. So that's why Waste Connection didn't pick up the trash. They hadn't paid their trash bill since the 28th of October. So after that, what happened is some calls was made and they paid their goddamn trash bill, and Waste Connection came out the next day to pick up the trash. Right? Because why? I'm saying that because that's accountability. Shout out to Mayor Howard, who got involved, which wasn't an issue. It wasn't a city issue, but he got involved to work on behalf of his constituents. Right? But when we start talking about this, we got people that are going to lie to you and tell you one thing and not even show you stuff. And then the thing is, you wanted to post an email to show proof that the $170,000 that people was asking about that they received from ADAM went to pay for the audits, right, the other day. But the email came from the 2 new city councils who emailed ADAM. Why didn't they? Like, that's all I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Like, that is what I'm saying. It'll be one thing, and I will go back and I will share it. After the election, the runoff elections in Perry County for Marion and in Uniontown, I made a post, and the post that I made, I said, congratulations, right, to those that have been elected, right? I said, incumbent leaders, you don't get grace. The newly appointed people, you get grace. Incumbent leaders, you don't get grace. Why? Because you've been there before. You've been there before. So, and all of this talk about coalition and all of that, at the end of the day, only thing that is I want people to support me to get back into these positions so I can stay in these positions. Because I have receipts of just even last year of how the Albert Turner was using misinformation to cause doubt in the ability of these elected officials. The same ones he supported right before this past election, and the same ones he's looking to endorse him right now. That's politics. I'm tired of politics. I want results. The city of Marion should already had a 5-year plan to show, hey, how we going to do this? What the way that they can do it in different phases, right? There should be a term of reference posted online where people can go see where it outlines the duties and responsibilities of each position. The mayor, the city clerk, the city councilman, the chief of police, the police officer, any position that's dealing with the city, they should have all of those positions posted so people can go and reference. Because if you Google it, you'll see there's people, there's cities, towns, and counties throughout America that already have that information posted. They got it posted. And we sitting around, oh, well, and I'll tell you this, man. There's some people that's so stuck on legacy that you're really stuck on stupid. Because you're loyal to legacy, and that legacy has driven Perry County to worse than where it was when I graduated almost high school in 1998, almost 30 years ago. Almost 30 years ago, 27 years ago, when I graduated high school from Greensboro High School, we had more grocery stores in Perry County. We had more places to eat. The infrastructure wasn't as aged as it is right now. And it's crazy that right now in 2025, we're losing things. People don't want to come in and invest because the infrastructure. But we got folks that want to get on here and they want to let people know, oh, you know, I got all of these connections. Let me take my picture. Let me post my picture with this person. Let me post my picture with that person. While I don't work a regular job, I'm working a part-time job that has a stipend of $1,800. But somehow, some way, I'm doing fairly well for myself. Right? But I always go live. I always got something to say about Marion or Perry County, right? And I'm always talking about people. My thing I say again, where did I lie? And if I lied, please provide me with verifiable information. And what I would do is, if you provide it with me and I lied, only thing I would do, I will come back and I will, as loudly as I am, I will come back with the same bravado that I have right now. I will come back and I will say I was wrong about that. Right? I'm just being honest with you. And I just want people to sit down and think. We got the two big cities in Perry County don't have a month-to-month budget. They don't. They don't. Think about that. They don't. If you just sit down and think about it, they do not. You know, I want, right now I'm in Augusta, down here with my baby girl, about to see my grandkids, right? And everywhere I go in Augusta, I look around, I'm looking outside right now, everybody got trash bin, City of Augusta trash bin on it. That when you move in, you pay, part of your sewage bill, boom, at one time, they made a one-time thing, and then but I'm sitting around, and I drive through Uniontown, and they got those plastic cutout barrels, 55 drum barrels as trash cans. But the mayor said they had $400,000 or $500,000 or $400,000 in the bank prior to this election. But what about moving things forward instead of just selling it for what it is? Like, that is the thing that is for me. I'm just letting people know right now. Like I said before, accountability and transparency is non-negotiable, especially for those elected officials. Because not only am I going to be involved, but there's a lot of other people that are involved right now because they're wondering why. And it's sad that it took us this long, but elected officials, you work for the people. The people ain't going to sit around and be quiet no more. The people are going to ask questions, and all public information will be made known. It will be made known. And look, it's time out for it. Man, these folks publish this stuff, make all of these promises, and then expect people to be quiet about it. But then you give all these excuses. For example, I talked about it the other day. Where y'all heard anything else about the jail being, the Perry County jail being reopened? It's been closed since September. But then, hey, we had delays, right? Do y'all know? I want people to know this, right? I want people to understand and know this, right? In 2021, Albert Turner announced that Governor Kay Ivey gave the Perry County, $200,000 to do a COVID treatment area in the jail. From what has been reported, there's no COVID treatment area in the jail. If that is true, there's a website that you can go and report fraud, waste, abuse for funding that was received from COVID funding, from the COVID Relief Act. You can submit an actual complaint about fraud, waste, and abuse. And guess what? I'm going to post how you can go about doing it. And the things that you need you just need to know the city, the address of it, and the name of the phone number right? An email address and phone number to the agency. And all that stuff is easy to find online. But it is time out. And I'm letting those, this is a fair warning, right? No longer people are being quiet. Complaints are going to be made to agencies. You're going to have to show proof. You're going to be held accountable, right? Marcia, I'm going to post that link. I'm going to post that information, and I'm going to clearly lay it out, right? So people can understand it. And yeah, like, and it's other things, man. It's so much stuff, right? So much stuff that we got to stop accepting these people lying to us. Like, stop accepting it, because not only do we deserve better, we're going to get better. Period. Listen, you don't get sympathy. If you've been on the city council longer than one term, if you hadn't professionally developed yourself, if you hadn't gone to be certified by the League of Municipalities, the Alabama League of Municipalities, that's been having a certification program to be certified as a municipal leader, either a mayor or city council since 1994, since my freshman year in high school, and I graduated 27 years ago. So since 31 years ago, right? Then that means that you're not trying to get better. When have professional development been put in besides flying trips all over and going up to DC and doing all this stuff for photo ops? When have the instead of the once a year retreat that people treat like a vacation, what have these elected officials done? And I'm not just talking about Perry County, I'm talking Hale County and all these other things, because the stuff is a problem across the board of these elected officials are not developing themselves and becoming professional, understanding what the law say and everything else like that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that goddamn Google, the internet, Bing, search engines, it's a lot of stuff you can find. It's a lot of stuff you can find. And I want people to understand this, and I'm finna give y'all some nuggets, right? There's a lot of stuff that is written that is hard for people to understand. That's just like some people say, hey, man, I don't like the King James Version because it's written in Old English, and that ain't how we talk. You can copy some stuff. Just say you go to a website. You can copy something. You can go to ChatGPT. You can post it in there. You say, hey, can you summarize this to make it easy, to make me able to understand it easy? And you post it, and it will summarize that, reword it to make it easier to digest. Right? And you know, and that's the thing, right? Marcia, you said before the DA won, I asked will he overlook the BS Abbott is doing because he's going down. When District Attorney Robert Turner Jr., he came on the Black Beard Experience show. And that was a question that people asked during the show. And the thing that he said was, he said he will look into all complaints, but it has to be credible. And I agree with that, right? The problem is this. There are a lot of people that's in Perry County that know that there's some things been going on, but they are afraid because they may have taken money themselves, for allegedly taking money themselves to vote a certain way, or had their bills paid, allegedly had their bills paid for a vote. So the reason why they are afraid to come forward is because they feel like they're going to get in trouble as well. So that's why we continue to have the same issues that we have. And I want people to understand that, man. It is not normal to have 10 times higher than the state average for absentee ballots that influence elections that support. And this is a funny thing. I do not recall, and I can be wrong, I do not recall one election. Oh, I do. And I'm going to share it. I think it was back in 2004 when Tony Long won the election in Marion as the mayor for Marion. Yes, I think it was 2004 when Tony Long won the mayoral election in Marion. There's a news article out that Albert Turner is quoted in saying that Tony Long won. He believed Tony Long won the mayoral election because he abused absentee ballots. Yes. Yes, it is out there, and I'm going to post it. And it's funny because the reason why I brought that up, everybody that seems to be, it looks to be, and I can be wrong, but everybody that Albert Turner supports always wins the numbers in absentee ballots. Yeah. I wonder why. And I remember after the election in Uniontown, it was a comment that was made by somebody that was like, well, towards my sister and was saying, well, she had time to work the absentee ballot. Like, what you mean working absentee ballots? What do you mean by working it? What is working it? Right? I'm a huge advocate for absentee ballots, right? I'm a huge advocate for them to be used correctly, not just going up to people who live in other areas, right? And you go up to them to try to get them to register to vote. In the city of Uniontown, I just want y'all to kind of see it, because I think a lot of times people don't think about it and look at these numbers. There's roughly 1,800 people in the city of Uniontown, right? And I want people to think about it. There were roughly 1,500 people in Uniontown that are registered to vote, right? There were over 500 absentee ballot applications, over 500. So 33% of the population submitted for an absentee ballot in the city of Uniontown, where everybody can go vote within a couple of hours, where Alabama law said that, I just want people to, I want people to really sit down and think about that. Just sit down and think about that. Like, I just want people, I want people to sit down and just think about that. Out of the 1,037 people that voted in the election in Uniontown, 369 of them were absentee ballots. And the incumbent mayor got more votes via absentee ballot than he did at the poll. And they had 5 people running at the first election. Portia got a total, my sister got a total of 400 votes the first election, and she got 470 votes the second election. But she had 360 votes at the poll, and then she had 400 votes at the first time, 400 votes at the poll the second time. She got she had 340 votes at the poll. She had 400 votes at the poll the second time. She had 60 absentee ballots at the poll. Absentee ballot the first election, and 73 total the second election. Both of those, she saw a 20% growth in both. Right? But in the city of Uniontown, you saw that. And I just sat back and be like, and then Albert Turner admitted, and I got receipts. He was going back and forth with me on some comments. He said, yes, the commissioner had to insert himself. He inserted himself and his resources in the Uniontown election. That's what he said. And I asked a question. What do you mean by insert yourself, your resources? Does that mean that you allegedly paid people to vote? And I didn't get a response. And that's under the initial SM, so he gonna try to act like that wasn't him. But the reason why I'm bringing this up and I'm talking, because I want the people to be able to see it for what it is. They play on you not knowing, they play on you not getting involved, and they play on, hey, just want to let them do it again, man. And I would tell you, man, I want people to see it. Jeff said it's funny because it's people that live out of town and vote in Uniontown. They actually set in on their post using their parent address. Yes. Yes. There's people that live out of the state that came back, especially doing that, and they requested absentee ballots. And yeah, and Derek, you're right. It's just all about resetting your mind, man. Resetting your mind and just saying, okay, look, and this is the thing, right? Accountability It's not personal. And a lot of people, I can hold you accountable. I don't have no grudges against people. I take grievances against when people be lying, and they lying in the capacity to mislead people. Because why can't you just tell the truth? Why can't we just have things open and honest and public, right? Why do we have to go through all of this stuff? And when I drive around, I see the roads are terrible. I see the infrastructure is terrible. I see businesses closing down. I see jobs leaving. And this is factual. The average age in Perry County is going up. It's gone up for the last 30 years. It's risen probably about six years. That's significant. Why? What does that mean? The young people are leaving and not coming back. Perry County in 1990 has a population of almost 12,000 people. It was over 11,000 people. Now they have 7,700 people in the county. That means that almost 3,500 or 4,000 people have left in the last, 35 years? So that means that if I do the math, that's over 100 people a year that's leaving. What does that mean? I want people to sit down and think, because I don't think people think about what happens, right? Think about how much money leaves Perry County and go to Marengo County, go to Demopolis, go to Selma, go to Dallas County, go to Tuscaloosa County, go to Tuscaloosa. How much money that is gone there because of what? Because people have to go to Demopolis and buy groceries because they don't have no grocery store in Uniontown. They go to Selma, they buy stuff. They go all of that tax revenue go to those municipalities. So we can sit down and see that Tuscaloosa County has an increase of 45% since 1990 because of the Mercedes-Benz plant. Tuscaloosa went from 75,000, about 75,000 to 125,000 within that same time period. That means that a lot of our people are leaving and moving up there because they got jobs up there, working for Mercedes-Benz, and they got tired of driving home every day. Right. And because of that, look at for those that know, look at how you can go down by the goddamn Riverwalk. You can go down throughout the amphitheater, all of that stuff. That stuff ain't look like that back in the late 90s, mid and late 90s. But because of all the revenue coming in up there, because you see steady growth in those areas, but you don't see it where we at. And that during that same time, we got the same done elected officials that recycle over and over. They go from mayor, city council, the county commission, and the same folks, and we getting the same results. And I just want people to sit down and think about it. Open your eyes and see like, dang, the worst we can do is get somebody new in there. If you guys don't believe me, watch how much you think these same folks who claim to care and do all of this stuff for people outside of government and outside of perception of the government doing something, what are these people have actually done that has not been done under the guise of I'm doing it so that I can be favorable for you to vote for me? If we know that and I always say it, Perry County, the second poorest county in the state, the 23rd poorest county in the nation. And the reason why I bring that up is all of this stuff. If we the second poorest county in the state and the 23rd poorest county in the nation, question you ask, okay, when Albert Turner make a post that don't provide that he had an assessment done, he had an assessment done on the health of the Perry County, and you got an A in job growth. Huh? Okay, where's the report so people can see it? Not just your word. Then you're going to try to get yourself a C plus for audit. You ain't done no goddamn audit. You haven't done a forensic audit, a forensic financial audit, not a compliance audit. Because those two different things. And this is why they play on y'all. They play on people. They'll say that they did an audit. It'll be a compliance audit, not a forensic financial audit. A forensic financial audit go line by line. A compliance audit only check to see if you're following certain procedures. And even with that, it's a published. They had 9 non-compliances. And when I looked on the website and I provided the website that people can go so you can go see it yourself, I checked Hale County. Guess what? Hale County County Commission have submitted an audit every year. Every year. Marengo, if I had to go back and verify, but they wasn't missing none. The last audit that was done by Perry County was in 2021. And the only time they really do audits is because they need those audits done for when they try to get grant money. And then when they get grant money, the question is, are they doing what they say that they're doing with that money? They got $600,000 to make improvements to the jail. Only thing that I heard is they painted it. And Albert Turner, since I'm not important enough, like you said, I will shut up about it if you can go show all of the improvements with visual evidence, all the improvements. If you can post that, post the contracts that was done for that work, I'll be quiet. The people be quiet. But I darn sure ain't taking your word, because based off of your track record, it is hard to accept the narrative that you provide, because it has a history and a consistency to not be accurate, to be inaccurate or misleading in nature. I hope you caught what I just said. Right? Hey, I'm about to go in and finish watching some football. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. I will be sharing some stuff. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because, one, the people need to know that these folks like to put information out there. One thing was crazy. If the city of Marion had to borrow $100,000 to pay their bills and make payroll, why would the mayor turn around and try to offer $500 bonuses of money that they didn't have before to the city workers? And this is not a knock. This is not saying that the city workers don't deserve it. That already shows you right now. They're just like, I got some bills I got to pay, but I got to borrow money. But instead of paying the bills, I go out and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give my kids, I'm gonna send them $1,000 so they can go splurge. But y'all want me to be okay with that? Y'all want the people to be okay with that, right? And for the people in Marion who, my heart goes out to you. Same thing to people in Uniontown. My heart goes out to back home because I love it. I love being from where I'm from. I love it, right? But it's 2025. And don't nobody give two flips or give a darn about what somebody did prior, right? What people want to know is, why do I got dirty water coming through? Why is my water dirty? Why did I have to throw out my clothes because the washer and dryer, the water that came through the wash and dryer stained my clothes and I had to give it away? Why do I have to buy bottled water to drink and to cook with because I can't trust the quality of water that I still have to pay a water bill for every month? Why do I got to drive on these roads and I got to repair my tires on my car because I'm hitting potholes and the road is falling apart, right? Those are the things people are asking. Those are the things. Why can't the people see what the actual budget is? Right. And that's why they was proposing a law, Alabama Senate Bill 307. They ended up not pushing it through, but that bill would have required all cities and counties to post their monthly expense, their budget audit, and their monthly expenditures online so the people can go see it. Right. And I would tell y'all, you have a right, public information, right? You have a right to see how the cities and the counties, how they're spending their money. Right. And I would tell you this, and I'm saying this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'll be retired from the military within 90 days. Right. I will be a resident back home in Perry County. So what you got to say then? What do you have to say then? Man, I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. Listen, accountability and transparency is no longer negotiable. It's time to realize that these folks ain't been doing their job. They're there to do their job. We're paying our tax dollars. We're paying those things for them to do their job. And if they don't like nobody holding them accountable, they can gladly resign and gladly leave. But don't sit here and try to play in people's face, right? Don't sit here and withhold the community voice, because community has a voice, right? And y'all got to ask yourself, honestly, There's a lot of people that have been elected in different positions in Perry County. And you got to ask yourself, since, well, I say 2012, I'm going to go back to 2012. In 2012, Tony Long was the mayor in Marion. Now he sits on the city council. The county commission. And this is the thing. It's not just Albert Turner, because a lot of the stuff Albert Turner that was voted for, especially when Ben Eaton and Cedric Hudson was on there, Brent Harrison and Tony Long voted with Albert Turner for a 3-2 vote. So it's not just Albert Turner, it's those county commissions too. But then at the same point in 2012, Ron Miller was on the county commission. He was the chairman of the county commission. Right? And Albert Turner at the time was talking bad about Ron Miller, about how he failed, and that was a crazy budget. It was like an inadequate budget that was posted when the last year he was the chairman, and how they was gonna, with the newly elected, now he calling people that he don't like, he can go on and he can talk about them, because he did the same thing against Ron Miller when he supported Carlton Lewis running for mayor in Uniontown. He did the same thing, saying that he failed as a commissioner and did all of this stuff, but now he supports him and he backs him. Why don't you keep that same energy? Right? Why don't you keep that same energy? Because the thing to me is, people forget. The thing about people that lie all the time, they lie so much that they either believe they lie or they forget what they said. So when you bring it back to them, I'm just telling you, man, I'm just not going to be quiet. I am not going to be quiet. I'm telling you right now, accountability and transparency is the bare minimum you can do. You'll get 100% support. But if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to be held to account. All right. You guys, you said my service going in and out. It's raining here. You guys have a great and wonderful day. God bless.